an interactive session. So from time to time, I'm going to be asking you questions, and sometimes you can comment if you want, like in the messaging box, you can send a message or you can just leave a thumbs up. But I'll prefer for everyone to leave a thumbs up when I want your feedback, so it shouldn't be too cluttered. So the way this is going to be structured is that we are going to start with an introduction. Then I'm going to show you the roadmap into learning full stack development, and then we'll talk more about the Programmers University, which most of you here saw the ad on Facebook. And then I'm going to tell you exactly how to join and all that fun stuff. So the way we are going to do is that we are going to have questions at the very end. So you're going to so I'm going to present what I have for today. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, anything, just keep it for the end. You can write it down so you don't forget. And then at the very end, we're going to have a Q&A session. Okay, hope that's cool with everyone. Okay, so just to make everything organized for everyone and to make this meeting nice for everyone, once you come on, try and mute yourself so that you shouldn't like interrupt everybody else. I'll try my best from time to time to mute everyone so it shouldn't pose a problem to everyone else. Okay, so today we are going to look at full stack development. So look at how full stack development works and how to start the right way, because there is a lot of noise on the internet especially with the new advent of AI. There is a lot of noise of whether you should even start your tech career, whether you should even like get into a career in tech, learn programming and all that stuff. We are going to show you exactly the roadmap today, how to get into it the right way, what to learn, what not to learn, and so on. So firstly, let me see, somebody is saying that my sound is low. Okay, is the sound low for everyone? Let's make sure it works for everyone here. Is everybody hearing you well?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes,
you hear me well?
Okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Awesome. Okay, so Mr. Victor, please just try to increase your volume a little bit because everyone else is saying that it's okay. So yeah, please try to increase your volume. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this is what we are going to get into today. So this session is designed to give you absolute clarity on what full stack development means, how the modern web works, and exactly what you need to become a job-ready developer. Because at the end of the day, I know most of you here are not learning this skill, or most of you here don't want to learn this skill just for fun. We want to ultimately get into tech and, you know, get into the tech career, either work for a company, either a renowned company, a small company, whatever, or even get into freelancing, because I know there are people here who want to get into freelancing, be their own boss, work for their own clients, or build their own startups, because that's another path. So we are going to look at all of that today. So by the end, you understand the complete roadmap and how TPU accelerates your journey from beginner to builder. So TPU just means the Programmers University, and that is basically the name of our company. So we are going to look at what full stack really means, so the complete picture. So if this is the first time you're hearing about full stack, or this is not the first time, we are going to get into that. We are going to compare websites before there's websites today, so you can see how websites have evolved over time and how web development today is not only about building static pages, but it's way more than that. We are going to look at the tech roadmap in order, so what you should learn in the exact sequence. So once you're done with this one, what should you learn next, what should you build next, and so on. Then we're also going to look at the career path. So what's realistic? So after learning these skills, what can you actually do in terms of career choice? What can you get into? And then we're going to look finally at how TPU works plus how to join. Because at the end of the day, anybody can learn tech online. You can go online on YouTube, you try to learn programming by yourselves. Anybody can do that. But the reason why you're here today is because I know most people have tried that before, have tried to learn on YouTube, but it hasn't worked for them because of obvious reasons: lack of structure, lack of a clear roadmap, overwhelming resources. And that is exactly what the Programmers University solves, and that is exactly the results we give for our students. So at the end of this, you're going to see exactly how TPU works, how we ensure that you can learn, build things by the end of the program, and guarantee that you can be the kind of developer that is employable. So we'll look at that and how you can do to join. Okay, so very important note, TPU is a paid program, so it's not free. And I really want to emphasize on this because if anybody wants a free resource, there is YouTube. YouTube is absolutely free. You can learn on YouTube. But as I said earlier, if you're here today, is because learning on YouTube is not like the best experience. I know a lot of people who have been learning for 5, 6 years, months on end, and they've ultimately given up because there is no guidance, no support, scattered resources. And we can even list all the reasons till like tomorrow. So TPU is not a paid program. So if you're here right now, it's because you are ready to potentially invest into learning these tech skills. So enough of the chit chat. Let's get straight into it. So firstly, I want to know who here has never written a single line of code before. So if you have never written a single line of code before, no need to unmute yourself. Just leave a thumbs up or leave a reaction. Let me see. If you have never written a single line of code before, just leave a reaction. Let me see. Okay, I see a couple of people here. Yeah, okay, awesome. I see a lot of us here have never written a single line of code, and that is cool. That's exactly what we are here to do. We see Stephen here, Joseph, Benedict. Okay, we are many here that are like really new to coding, and that's absolutely cool. That's absolutely what we are here to teach. And now on the other hand, who has coded before but got stuck for one reason or the other? So if you've already coded before, but you are never able to really understand it, to really get the hang of it, or you got stuck somewhere on tutorials, also leave a reaction. Let me see how many people who have tried before but given up for one reason or the other. Okay, we see Kelvin, Joseph. Okay, so a couple of people too. So that's really good. And one good thing about our program is that people have come through both cases. So people who never wrote a line of code before, and people who tried for years and didn't succeed, and just a few weeks within the program, they were able to build their first website and ultimately their first app. Okay, so let's get into the first thing. So this program is for you if you are new and you want a real roadmap. So if you're tired of conflicting advice, so people who basically tell you that learn Python today, tomorrow learn Ruby, tomorrow learn this. If you're tired of all those conflicting advice, then you're absolutely in the right place. If you have watched tutorials, but you still can't build, so if you've taken YouTube tutorials, read articles, and you still can't build project, then you're in the right place. If you get stuck and stop, so once you like hit a roadblock, things get difficult, you stop, then you're in the right place. And if you want job-ready projects, because at the end of the day, employers are not looking for people only with certificates. Employers are looking for people who can build projects and ship things. Okay, so before we move forward, let me make sure everybody is seeing the slides. Are you able to see my slides? I'm currently sharing my screen.
Yes,
is everybody
please.
able to? Okay.
Yes, please. The slides are awesome.
We can see.
Okay, so
Yes, please, please.
Lolua,
Yes.
okay, thanks guys. Okay, awesome. Just to make sure everybody is on the same page. Okay, so I'm currently sharing my screen. If you're not seeing my screen, you can close and reopen this. Can everybody mute themselves, please? This is a bit chaotic. Okay, so everybody's muted now. Okay, so now let's move on to the next. So now let's take a look at the number one reason people quit. Because let's be honest, programming is not something that is easy. A lot of people start, a lot of people stop. But it's not because they are dumb. Some people think that programming or tech as a career is only reserved to like the super smart people. That is not a reason. Like that is not what tech is. Anybody can get into it, but the people who don't is because of a few reasons. Firstly, they get stuck in watching tutorials. So they watch tutorials, they feel like they have made progress, they get comfortable, and they learn passively. So they learn it like they were watching a movie, which that is absolutely not good. And then there's also building projects. So people are uncomfortable with building projects because after they've watched a couple of tutorials, they try to build projects by themselves. They realize that they don't know anything and they feel very uncomfortable and they quit. So these are the two main reasons why people quit. Too much watching of tutorials and not being comfortable struggling and building projects, and especially not also having a clear roadmap and even the projects to build. Okay, so I want to let you guys today know that skills come from practice and projects and not from passive consumption. That is why after watching a 12-hour YouTube tutorial, for anybody who has done it here, you still don't feel like you know how to code. When you get to your PC and you try to build something by yourself, you still feel like you don't know anything, because the tutorial don't actually teach you anything. The tutorial just show you the way. And if you don't put it into practice, if you don't build your own project, you're never going to get to a point where you can actually call yourself a developer. So the gap between watching and doing is where most aspiring developers get lost. Tutorials give you knowledge, but building gives you capability. That discomfort you feel when facing your blank editor, that is where growth actually happens. So TPU is designed to bridge the gap with structured practice that forces you to think, not just follow along. Okay? So now let's take a look at what a website really is, because a lot of us here think that a website is just like a page where you view stuff, where you view a bunch of text, a bunch of a bunch of text, a bunch of images. In summary, that is what it is. But you who wants to become a developer, you need to understand the technical things behind that. So before we dive into what full stack development is, you need to understand the fundamental architecture of modern web applications. So a website is not just what you see in your browser. It's a complete system with three essential components working together seamlessly at all times. So the first component is the front end, and this front end is what the user sees. So we want to give a brief example. Once I know everybody here uses Facebook, because that's basically where we run our ad, was on Facebook. Once you go on Facebook, everything you see on the page is the front end. So all the images, all the text, the like button, your friend's profile, all that is the front end. So that's what the users see. So it's the visual interface which comprises of the buttons, the forms, interactions, everything, okay? Everything you see and you interact with, all the buttons you click. And now on the other hand, there is what they call the backend. The backend consists of logic and security. So this is the brain behind the scenes that processes requests, enforces rules, and protects sensitive data. So when you go on Facebook, if you've ever asked yourself, how do those things you see on the screen do to appear? Like where are they stored? This is where the backend comes into place. The backend is in charge of retrieving all those things you see on the screen and serving it to you on the front end, okay? And now the final part that makes up a website in today's day and age is the database. So the database is where data is stored. So when you upload a picture on Facebook, when you create a post, when you like somebody's post or something, all that goes and gets stored in the database. And now is the interaction of these three that makes up most websites you see today. Okay, so in a second we are going to compare websites today versus websites like 20 years ago, when the internet was just like something new. Understanding this architecture is the foundation of becoming a full stack developer. When you grasp how these pieces communicate, debugging becomes easier and building becomes more intuitive. So the job of a full stack developer is to be able to build all these sections all at once. So you're not somebody who is just specialized in one thing. You're somebody who can start from scratch and build the whole application stack all by yourself. And that's exactly why full stack developers are in high demand and can build a lot of things, even building their own apps and launching their own companies. Okay, now let's take a look at web pages before and today. So to your greatest surprise, as you can see right here, this is Apple's website. So the Apple that we all know, I'm even saying 100 billion, they are $3 trillion. They are a $3 trillion company, one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest company in the world. This was their website back in 1997. I'm pretty sure everybody here will be able to build such a website just after 2 days of being in the program. But this is the website of the almighty Apple back in the days. So you can see that back then, that is over 20 years ago, websites were extremely basic. They were very, very static. You couldn't go and buy something online. You couldn't place an order online. You couldn't even see great images online. Everything was just super basic. And we didn't need full stack developers. We didn't need like whole huge developers with like big brains. Just basic HTML and CSS was building all of this, right? And those are things that you learn in 2 weeks when you're in the program. But these were the websites of like the top companies 20 years ago. That's why back then there were not many developers. Like, I'm pretty sure most of you here didn't hear about that back then, or if you heard about it, it was just like a very niche thing. It was not something very prevalent like today. So the early web was fundamentally different from what we build today. Websites were a collection of static documents, digital brochures that displayed information without much interaction. So you cannot really click on buttons, you cannot really hover on things. It was just very static. Okay, so a common characteristics of websites like 20, 30 years ago, they were mostly static. So the things on the web page weren't updating dynamically. There were simple forms, so you just have like a simple forms for you to input your name, your data for a company to store. That was it, and it was having very limited interactivity. Back then, JavaScript was very minimal. Today, you can do everything with JavaScript, even build mobile apps. But back then, JavaScript was like super minimal. People hardly use JavaScript on the website, so it was not really interactive. The website didn't do much. Okay, and now today, this is the same website from the same company, Apple. As you can see, it's very, very different. And there is a lot going on this website. When you go on the Apple website, you see different products. You see a place where you can input your credit card, buy an iPhone, you can buy a MacBook, you can buy so many different products just on one website. And the very fun part and the very cool part is that all of these things are updated dynamically. So somebody doesn't need to come and manually change the code of the website. All they need to do is to go to their backend, add a new image, add a new price, and magically all the products are on the website. And that is the magic of evolution. That's the magic of web pages today. And all of that are built by developers like you and I, or aspiring developers like you and developers like I. Just full stack developers who know how to build everything from the front end to the back end. Okay, somebody can't see my screen. I think everybody else can. I think most of us can see my screen. If you can't see my screen, please leave a thumb down or just let me know in the comments. Why are some people not able to see my screen? If you can't see my screen, please kindly off the call and join again, or try to join on your computer if you're on your phone. Maybe that's why, because I'm currently sharing my screen. Most people can see, so the few who can't, try to exit the call and join again, or just join on your PC. Thank you very much. But anyways, don't worry if you miss anything here. This recording is this lesson is recorded, and then we are going to send it to you at the end. So if you miss anything, you can always come back to it, as we will send everything at the end of the class. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying, these are modern websites today. They are dynamic. They are not only static, they are very interactive. You can click on a button, you can buy goods and services, you can place orders, you can track, like you can basically do everything on websites nowadays. And take a quick guess who built those? Developers. So as amazing as it may sound, these are things built by human beings like you and me, people who learned this, people who started from scratch like you, and people who learned to build things and came up to a point where they can build all of these things. So today, websites comprise of things like dashboards, marketplaces, fintech. So they are basically complete business platforms with complex workflows, real-time updates, and sophisticated user interactions that handle thousands of simultaneous users. Okay, so like when you're on Facebook right now, there are maybe like 1 million people every second on Facebook. And try and ask yourself, how is that even possible? How can 1 million people access one single website? All that is thanks to the development that has been done over time, all on the backend side, because once you access Facebook, you're requesting data from their servers, which is the backend, and all those things are built by developers like you and I. And I'm calling everybody here a developer because I know the serious people here are going to ultimately take this seriously and learn till they are able to build things like this. So if I'm calling you a developer right now, you need to own it, because that's absolutely what you'll be. Even if it's not with us, I'm sure everybody here is extremely committed, because you're already inside this class. You probably take this seriously till the point where you can build things like this. Okay, so modern websites today also have things we call logins and user accounts. So people can actually create their accounts in the website, update their accounts, log their accounts, so other people cannot access their data basically. And then we also have real-time data plus APIs and payments and notifications. So websites today are like super amazing. There's so much you can do with it today, and that's exactly what you're going to be learning throughout the program. how to build things like this, how to connect payment methods, how to build dashboards. So things that companies are actually looking for and that you can even use in case you also have an idea to one day build such apps or such products, okay? So let's move over to the next. Let's take a look now at full stack, basically the full stack. So the job of a full stack is to build complete applications end to end. So being a full stack developer means you have the complete skill set to take an idea from concept to deployed product. You are not dependent on other specialists to bring your idea to life. This independence is incredibly valuable in today's job market and essential for entrepreneurship and to get higher paying jobs. Okay, so a full stack developer basically can basically build everything by themselves. So you build the user interface so you can craft responsive, beautiful user experiences that work across all devices. You build the server and the API. So this is what we just talked about earlier. That is the backend. The full stack developer builds these themselves too. And then you store and manage data. So you can interact with databases, design them, design the schemas, design the queries, and how to serve it to the users on the front end. And finally, deploy it live, which is one of the most important things. Because if you keep building your apps, if you keep building it and keeping it like back in your closet or something, the world will never discover what you're capable of. So you should be able to deploy your project or deploy your application and put it out there so that everybody can access it. Okay, so full stack means you can build products from scratch, and this is the skill that gets you hired and enables you to build your own ideas. So if you're having any idea of an app here, I think I received a message of somebody who wanted to build a betting site. I don't know, that's not the best thing to build, not sports betting, because people will lose a lot of money, but that is something you can absolutely build as a full stack developer. And if you're currently in Nigeria, Ghana, or whatever country, most of us here can have access to payment APIs if we apply for them. Like if you're building a betting site, for example, you want to receive people's payment, you can go and apply for Flutterwave, you can apply for Paystack or other payment methods and start accepting payments from people online. So you can sit down, build your own application, whether it's a betting site, get people to start betting, collect their money, and then for those who pay, you pay out. For those who lose this, you make your profit. That is how it's done. Obviously, more will go into it like marketing and stuff, but learning the skill will absolutely get you to a point where you can build those things by yourself. And that is what is absolutely amazing. Okay? So now let's take a look at the different steps or the different parts that make up full stack development in a little bit more detail. So firstly, starting with the front end. Okay, somebody's asking if the slides will be available. Yes, they will. We are going to send you the recording and the slides, so do not worry about that. So the first thing you need to learn as a full stack developer is the front end, which deals with the user interface. So the front end is everything users see and interact with in their browser. It's where design meets code and where user experience is created. While it might seem simple at first, building modern, responsive, and interactive interfaces requires mastering several technologies interconnected between each other. The first technology you need to master when it comes to front-end is HTML. And HTML deals with the structure. The next technology is CSS. CSS deals with the design, so the colors, the style, the fonts, all those things. That is CSS. And then we have JavaScript. JavaScript is basically the interaction. So when you click a button and something happens, that is JavaScript. When you click a button and it loads different things from the server, that is JavaScript. And then we have React. React is a JavaScript framework that allows you to scale your UI. So basically, let your UI or your user interface be accessible to several hundreds of thousands of users potentially. So these are the stack, or these are the technologies you need to learn as a front-end developer. So just to put this into perspective, the example I like using when learning front-end is that take HTML as the skeleton, right? So you see the human body, you have your skeleton, you have your skin, you have your brain, and then whatever. HTML is like the skeleton. This is basically the structure. So without HTML, you cannot have any website. So HTML is the most fundamental part that makes up every website. And then you have CSS. CSS is just like your skin, right? Like you can see me, this is my skin. If we go under the skin, most of us here have basically the same skeleton, so we are not going to look much different if we were only working in skeletons. But now that we have skins, we have hair, we have eyes, we have clothes, that is what makes us, that is what gives us style, that is what gives us design, and that is exactly what CSS is. So once you define the structure with HTML, you want to give it now style for it to look unique, for it to look nice, and you want to give it your own style. That's when you do CSS. And then finally, we have the thing that makes us different, that makes us think differently, behave differently, which is our brain. And in this case, that is exactly what JavaScript is, right? JavaScript is what makes people different in terms of behaviors, in terms of who they are, and so on. Okay, so this is exactly how I want you to think about front end. And now React is just like a human being with education. So fundamentally, we'll have similar behaviors, but if we're not educated, or if no one goes to school or get educated, we'll all be like baseline a little bit retarded, right? Now React allows you to be a little bit more sophisticated. Okay, so it's just like your education. So you already have your brain, and now once you get educated, you get a bit more sophisticated. You can reason through things, think through things, come up with brilliant solutions, and so on. So that's exactly how React is. So when it comes to the front end, you have to learn things in this exact order. Okay, so when do we have our next class? So I'll answer questions at the end, but let me just say this one. For the program, we have classes every Saturday. Someone is saying my screen is off. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Let me turn off my screen and turn it back on. Let's see if it fixes the problem. Okay, guys, I'm sharing my screen one more time. If you had difficulty seeing the screen, or if you're not able to see, please let me know if you can see it now. Let me know if you can see now. Leave a thumbs up, or let me know in the comment section. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs ups. You can see my screen. You can see my screen. Mr. Yusuf, okay, can you see my screen? Okay, awesome. So most of us can see my screen. I hope everybody can, but let's just continue. Okay, so we've talked about the front end now. Now let's head over to the back end. Okay, Mrs. Blessing can see my screen. Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for the feedback. So now the back end is the brain of your web application. So while users will never see the back end, like this is official, users will never ever see your back end. If they see, then there's a huge problem with it. This is what make modern websites or modern applications actually work. The backend is where the real power lies. So things like authentication, your business logic, data processing, integration with external services, all of these things are done in the backend. Without a solid backend, even the most beautiful websites will just look like a static mockup, because nothing will actually happen. Users will not be able to create their accounts. Users will not be able to make payments. Like, it will just be a static website, not much going on. So in the backend, things you need to learn, or things you need to know how to build in the backend, involves things like APIs. So how to send and receive data. Because at the end of the day, when you build your backend, you need to be able to send the data to the front end and receive data back from the front end. Okay, so this is what you do in the backend side. Also, authentication, so login and security. So because your app has to be secured. Okay, let's say you're taking payments, you're collecting payments online, your app needs to be secured. You shouldn't allow things like people making payments, but you're not able to receive it, or their accounts are not able to get activated because you didn't build your backend well. So login, security, user authentication, registration, password encryption, all these are done in the backend. Okay, and then you also have business logic, so the rules that make up your backend. So this code that enforces your application's specific rules. So things like pricing calculations, validations, permissions, workflow, data transformations. Those are things in your backend. Okay, and then we have now things like integrations. So integrations is if you want to like apply an external service to your application. As we just said earlier, if you're creating a betting site and you want to start accepting money from people, the next question is, how are you going to do it? You obviously don't own a bank, because if you're creating a betting website, you definitely do not own a bank. You don't own payment infrastructure. So what do? You integrate an external payment infrastructure like Flutterwave or Paystack or anything else. So you building your backend is also going to allow you to be able to integrate those external services. So inside your application, you can use someone else's service and accept payment. You can use someone else's service and send emails, because you don't own a data center to send your own emails. So you have to use something like AWS or SendGrid. Okay. For those who have never heard about those, don't worry about this. They are just very popular services. Okay. So these are things that you do in the backend side of things. This is like the backbone of your application, and every modern application that respects itself has to have a solid backend. Okay. And now finally, the things that make up full stack is the database. You can have a backend, you can have a front end, but if you have no way of storing data, you are basically doomed. That's not a very good application. So every dynamic application needs somewhere to permanently store data. The database is your application's long-term memory. It persists information even when the server restarts or users close their browser. So for example, once you close your Facebook account and you open it back, you can still see your pictures, you can still see your friends' pictures, because all of those things are stored somewhere. And this somewhere is what we call the database. So the database has things like users, profiles, transactions, so account informations, user preferences, purchase history, and stuff like that. It also has things like products, posts, and messages. And this really ties well to our Facebook example. So all your posts, all your messages are stored somewhere. And that is what is the database. And then it allows you to also do what is called CRUD operations. So if this is the first time you're hearing about this, just take note of it. This is a very important term when it comes to database. It just means create, read, update, and delete. It means you should be able to create data inside your database, update the data, delete the data, and read the data. Okay. So as long as you can do all those 4 things inside your database, you're capable of building literally any kind of application. Okay. So the difference between your application and someone else's will just be what it does, or how well optimized it is. But fundamentally, this is what every single application does, this term right here. So if you can even screenshot it, this is going to be good. Okay. So this CRUD, create, read, update, delete, every application should fundamentally do this, and it is done thanks to the database. Okay. And now we have 2 main types of databases that we ultimately use, or that most companies use. This is relational versus non-relational database, or NoSQL databases. So these are just different types of database with different structures. They serve different users, different needs. So you can decide to start with anyone, but in the Programmers University, we go with a NoSQL database, which is called MongoDB. Okay, you're going to see more about that in the program. We're not going to go too much into the technicalities of that. So now let's take a look. Let's now look at full stack in a holistic approach. Okay, so understanding the complete request response cycle is crucial for debugging and building efficient applications. So when a user interacts with your application, data flows through multiple layers. And let's trace what is going to happen exactly. So I'm going to explain it, and if you would like, you look at it, you look at this this diagram we have here to understand it better. So for example, right, when you go on Facebook, okay, and you like a post, there is what they call a UI event, and this is it that we're seeing right here. A UI event is basically when the button changes from its normal state to the blue color. That shows that you've liked it. That is the first thing that happens when you come on a web page. And now, once you click on that like, one thing is sent that is called an API request. So you're basically communicating with Facebook servers to tell Facebook that, okay, I've liked this person's post. And now what happens after the API request, that is after you send that event to the server, is that the server processes it, which happens in the server logic. So what happens there now is that it adds a like. So it basically takes your likes, registers it, and says that this person has liked it. Okay. And now a database operation happens. So what happens in the database? The database saves your name, it saves your like, it saves which post was liked, and it increments the like counts. Okay. So now the like is going to leave from, if it was a post with 20 likes, it will leave from 20 to 21. And all that happens in less than a millisecond. Okay. And after it is stored in the database now sends a response. So it tells now to you on the front end that, okay, I've saved this like, Now you can see the increments in the front end. All of this happens in less than a millisecond, and every single step that I'm just from listing right now, all of the steps were built by developers, okay, by full stack developers or either front end or back end developers, but every single step was built. So from you clicking the like, that is the front end, to the API request, that is server, to the database operation, that is the database or the memory, to sending back the response. All of this is what happens when you click a like button or when you submit a form on a website. Okay, all of these things are done like extremely fast in less than a millisecond, and that is one of the beauties of full stack developer or full stack development. Sorry. So once you internalize this flow, debugging becomes exponentially easier. You can pinpoint exactly where problems occur. So is it in the UI? Is it the API call? Is it the backend validation, or is it the database query? Okay. Okay. So you guys should not worry if I'm using terms. These are terms that you get familiar with. Things like queries, API calls, all of you guys here will get familiar with it once you get a bit deeper into your tech journey. But these are the terms we use every day as developers. Okay. Okay. So now let's take a look at the roadmap. Okay. So for everyone who is here, I know at least you must leave here with at least what to learn, or the exact roadmap in the exact sequence you should learn in order to become a full stack developer. Okay. So this is the major roadmap, the major roadmap that works. Okay. So anybody who has been confused on if they should learn Python, if they should learn Java, JavaScript, C, C++, that is not how you should approach programming. You go step by step through a structured roadmap, and once you master this, the day you want to switch to Python, it becomes very easy. Okay. So the biggest mistake aspiring developers make is jumping between technologies randomly. So today you learn React, and then tomorrow you learn backend, and then tomorrow you learn Python. That's absolutely how you fail. That's not how to learn. Okay. So the correct approach is sequential learning with immediate applications through projects. So the first thing you need to learn fundamentally is the foundations. That is HTML and CSS. You start with the fundamentals, then you build a project, you do a couple of exercises, and then you're good to go once you already understand what is going on. Most of our students in the program, this HTML and CSS part, they're able to get done with it within the first 3 weeks and build their first website. That is what most of them say. That's the feedback we get from most people. And then JavaScript is the next step, which is core programming concepts. So for anybody who has been wondering whether they should learn JavaScript or Python, know that at the end of the day, programming is a universal concept. The concepts you see in JavaScript are the same you see in Python, in C, in Java. The only thing that changes is the syntax and certain rules, but the general concepts are very similar. So if you learn just one programming language, you can learn the others in less than no time. That's why in the program we focus on JavaScript, because that is the easiest to get into, and the knowledge you get when you learn JavaScript can be translated to any other programming language. Okay. So after you're done learning JavaScript, you learn React, which is a modern front-end framework. Yeah, this is just a front-end framework. No need to go deep into it. And then once you're done with React, so you're basically done with the front-end side, you head over to the back end and learn how to build APIs and databases. And finally, once you're done building this, you can deploy your application live, which is one of the most fun experiences, one of the coolest experience. Just imagine, like, after 1 month or 2 months of being in the program, you build your first application and send to whoever was rooting for you, whether it was your parents, whether it was your friends. You send to them and show them what you've built. That is one of the best experience. I remember when I built my first application, published it on the App Store, the first person I sent it to was my father or my dad. He was really, really proud, and best feeling ever. Trust me. Okay. So now, in terms of building applications, now in terms of being a full stack developer, the first area you need to start with, or the first area I generally recommend, because other people recommend like starting with the backend side, but I generally recommend, and that's what our students do in the program, is to start building layouts. So this is the first stage. You start with HTML and CSS, and this is where every developer, in my opinion, should start with, and this is for very, very good reasons. So this stage builds your confidence quickly because you can see immediate visual results. You'll go from blank page to professional looking interfaces faster than you expect. Okay. And one reason I really recommend starting with this section is because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. Some people, if it's too difficult, they'll get discouraged and quit. Okay. And that is why I deeply discourage starting with the back end, because most people will not tolerate not seeing any progress visually for like 4, 5, 6 months. Okay. That is why it's very important that you start with the front end, HTML, CSS. So after you build your first page within the first 2 weeks, it's going to give you that reinforcement to let you understand that, okay, this thing is not something reserved for genius. I too can build something because I just built something, and this will give you the momentum to be able to go further. Okay, that is why the first stage is to build real layout, get that real-time feedback, and move over to the next step with force. And then inside this, once you've come, okay, you're able to see my screen. Awesome. So if the inside this, once you master this, inside this, once you finish with the HTML and CSS side, the things that you're going to master are going to involve this following. So semantic HTML, flexbox are great, responsive design, and being able to clone real user interfaces. So all of this you're seeing right here, these are basically this is basically a summary of the main things you should learn, but there are more things you should learn inside here, and this is what most of our students are able to do within the first 3 weeks. The smartest guys, and when I say smartest, I don't mean the others are dumb, but the fastest guys, you know, they're always faster people when it comes to learning. The faster guys are always able to get done with this in 2 weeks, and in their third week, finish their project. Whereas people who are a little bit slower, maybe they're having something in their life, they're not able to dedicate more time. They get done with this first section and deploy their first website live in a month. So they finish with HTML and CSS in the month, and then from week 5, they build and deploy their first website live. Okay, so this is really amazing, absolutely works, and these are basically the things that you're going to master. So this stage typically takes 2 to 3 weeks of focused practice, and here the goal isn't perfection, it's building enough layouts that you can confidently translate any design into code. So I think in like 20 minutes, I'm going to show you guys the apps or the websites that our students have deployed. So the way it works is that we give a design for you to build. So you should not be able to use AI, because AI will not be able to give you the exact design. So instead of people trying to like cheat and, you know, ask AI things and them not understanding things, we have designed it in such a way that if you do that, you even face more difficulties. Okay, so it's very important for you to come in, dedicate yourself, learn how things work, and understand them by building your own projects. Before, once you get more experience, you can use AI as an amplificator. We are going to talk about the AI later, but I'm also going to show you projects that other students have done, and some students even came, like some students legitly, this I'm not exaggerating, there was some guy who like tried learning for 5 years, like tried learning HTML and CSS for 5 years, quitting because, you know, they couldn't really understand how to make it work. And within the first 3 weeks, they were able to build and deploy the application, and they've just posted yesterday. I'm going to show you guys like in a couple of minutes. We had a class last Sunday. It was really amazing to hear it. So once you go on the platform, you can even rewatch the classes, that the previous classes we did. You're going to hear him speak. I was amazed. 5 years of not knowing how to build a website, not understanding HTML and CSS, to being able to build and deploy their own in just 2 weeks. I was absolutely genuinely amazed, and I was also surprised, because that's very, very amazing. Okay, so let's head over to the next. So the next stage, okay, the next stage after you've built your real UI, and this is the step-by-step process a full stack developer should to go through if they want to really assimilate this, is to make their website interactive. So this is the second part, and this is one of the stages that most people quit at. That is JavaScript. I honestly don't understand why people quit so much at JavaScript, but this is one of the places where people quit at. And luckily enough, with all the challenges we have in the program, all the practice, this really helps you get grounded into JavaScript really, really quickly. So JavaScript is where many people quit, not because it's impossibly difficult, but because they try to learn it passively. They don't practice enough, and they realize that they need to think differently than when it was HTML and CSS. That's what makes them quit. It's not that it's impossible. JavaScript reveals whether you are actually understanding concepts or just following along. And this is the stage that demands real practice and problem solving. So in JavaScript, concepts you have to get familiar with are DOM plus events. So DOM is basically document object model. Once you get into it, you understand it better. So knowing how to manipulate HTML elements with JavaScript, responding to user clicks, hovers, and keyboard input. And then with JavaScript, you also have forms plus validation. So capturing user inputs, validating data, and stuff like that. And finally, you have fetching API. So being able to interact with other people's server logic or other people's APIs, even interact with your own that you built yourself as a backend developer. So these are the main things you do in JavaScript. And finally, debugging fundamentals. So using browser developer tools, reading error messages, setting breakpoints. So basically fixing bugs when they happen, okay? So the key to mastering JavaScript isn't watching more tutorials. It's solving problems daily. So small exercises that force you to think and debug, build the pattern reconnection that you need to become a real developer. I'm going to show you exactly how our platform solves this because we have exercises directly integrated into the platform after every single lesson. Because the main problem that people face when learning JavaScript, not enough practice, not enough problem solving. And we have interactive practice solving inside the program, inside the platform that I'm going to show you in a bit. It's really amazing. The learning progress people face inside is just like super tremendous. And then finally, we have stage 3. I'm going to say finally, this is not like the end, this is the end of the front end side, which involves building modern user interfaces with React. So React transforms how you build user interfaces by introducing components. And components are reusable pieces of UIs that make complex applications manageable. So from this, just understand that React makes complex applications more manageable, okay? It's the next step after the whole JavaScript chaos. It really brings back everything together, and you understand now why certain applications run so fast, okay? So React really makes you streamline the development process and move way faster. So while it adds new concepts, React actually makes building large applications easier once you understand its mental model. This is the skill that makes you immediately more employable. Because let's be honest, guys, nearly all companies today use React. Facebook, Flutterwave, Amazon, Airbnb, like think of any website, like I'm pretty sure most websites you use today, they use React. So learning React makes you really employable because most employers use it. Most employers use React, okay? So here are just some concepts in React that you're going to learn. They involve like components, states plus props, routing, APIs in React. So these kind of things, we're not going to get into the technical details, but you can just screenshot it or you can just take note of it right now and see, okay? And just retain it. Or once you get into React, you'll be able to remember this and be like, oh, we saw this during the first intro class, okay? And then finally, this is now the last step that makes you full stack, because we just saw the front end part. Now this is what makes you full stack, which is backend, learning backend development and databases. So this is where everything comes together, okay? Backend development completes your skill set. It enables you to build products that actually work, not just pretty interfaces. So you create APIs, you handle authentication, you store data permanently, and deploy complete applications to the internet. So the technologies you need to learn here involve Node plus Express APIs. So Node is basically JavaScript that runs in the backend, okay? We are going to learn this. I can't see my screen. Let me off the screen and share it back. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, my screen should be up right now. Mr. or Mrs. Miracle, please check it one more time to see if you're seeing my screen. I've offed it and shared it back. Even Ibekwe, Xavier, Mr. or Mrs. If I'm giving you the wrong Mr. or Mrs., I'm sorry about that. So just check if you're seeing the screen. Okay. All right. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. So okay. So the next thing in becoming a full stack is knowing how to handle authentication. So knowing how to implement secure user registrations and login systems with password hashing. Password hashing just means that knowing how to protect people's password. Because at the end of the day, when people come and create their account in your app, You don't want to be able to see their password, or you don't want to be able to make their password interceptable by a hacker. So you have to be able to hash it. It's just a secure way of like restructuring their password so that nobody can be able to interpret it. Okay, just like a form of encryption. And then GWT tokens and protected routes. So if somebody logs in, they shouldn't be able to access certain pages. That is what protected routes are. So very fun concept that you're going to learn further. And then you have databases. So connecting to databases, designing schemas, writing queries, and managing relationships between different types of data. Okay, so database is something really beautiful. Like, it really helps you, because some people think that database is only to like store data, but it's also to structure data in a way that is easily accessible. Let's say, for example, you have a Facebook profile, and then you have posts. Just imagine the number of people having profiles and posts. How does Facebook know that this post belongs to this person, or this profile belongs to this post? Okay, so that is what means managing relationships. So knowing what thing belongs to who inside a database, or which data is associated to which other data. Okay, and all those things are basically designed in the designed as a full stack developer, and that's what makes some applications to run faster than others. So there is a whole lot that goes into it, but once you start understanding how this works individually, it becomes easy to put everything together. Okay, and then finally, deploying your app. So we've talked about this several times. After building your application locally, you can now deploy it to production servers, make it available for real users to interact with. Okay, so if your users are your family members, if you're building a small app to manage your family meetings, you can absolutely do it and share it to them, and you will be able to like manage meetings, see who has contributed, who hasn't, just fun stuff, really fun stuff. So anything you think of building, you can basically do it. Okay, so this stage transforms you from someone who builds projects to someone who builds products. And obviously, when we talk about products, it can get to a point where you can start selling them. You can start having users who pay for your products. Okay, so now let's talk about a very controversial topic that gets a lot of people scared. Okay, yeah, you need slides. The slides will be shared after the class. So where does AI fit into your journey? Because a lot of people hear about AI, they hear about the amazing things AI does, because AI is actually amazing, and they think that there is no need to learn programming because AI will basically replace everyone. And let's just address it right now. So will AI replace developers? The real question is whether AI rewards skill or creates it. Okay, so this answer definitely shapes how you should approach learning. And let's take a look at things you should do. So AI helps speed up your work. That is the fundamental thing that AI does. So AI tools like GitHub, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever AI tool, these are very incredible, useful tools, and they are used a lot by experienced developers. They autocomplete code, they suggest solutions, and handle boilerplate tasks. Fundamental skills still matter. AI can't debug your logic errors. Hold on. Guys, let me try to present this differently. A lot of people are not seeing my screen. This really sucks. Let me try one more time. Hopefully you'll be able to see it now. Okay, I'm sharing the screen I'm sharing the screen one more time. Okay, so I'm sharing it one more time. Please let me know if you're seeing. Okay, so getting back to the slides. So fundamentals still matter. AI can't debug your logic errors. So if you don't understand what the code is supposed to do, you need the foundation to know when AI is wrong. Because this is actually a fact, right? AI can be wrong sometimes. AI sometimes will give you a solution that is not the best. It will give you a solution that once you put it to the real world, hackers will be easily able to hack your application. And this has happened several times. I even came across a Twitter post of one guy one day. He was like, okay, so like it was like 1 week, like during the first week, he would say that, hey guys, I just built a product and I'm having some users paying for my product. And he was so proud. He told everybody that you don't need to learn programming. I've never coded before, but I built a product and I've gotten a couple of paid users. Just 1 week after he posted that, he came and posted now that, guys, I'm very sorry. Hackers have hacked my application. I don't know what to do. I need help. Just 1 week, like that was just like 1 week difference. After he claimed that you don't need to learn programming because even a known developer like him could build apps and started taking payment. He posted it online, hackers attacked the website, and he wasn't even able to know what happened, right? So there is two situations in life. You can fail, right? And you can win. But the most, like the worst situation is winning and you don't even know why you won. So the time that something goes wrong, you don't even know what to fix. And that's exactly what happened, right? So he built an application, he received a couple of payments, he was happy. But when he got stuck, when hackers came into it to show him that he doesn't know anything, he didn't even know where to start fixing it. Because guess what? AI will not tell you that do this or fix this application like this. Because AI itself doesn't even know that it did that thing wrong. And that is exactly why anybody who asks me if they should learn programming right now, I'll say if you want to get into tech, if you want to be taken seriously, learn the foundations first. Don't talk about AI. Don't rely on AI, because when it's going to come to those critical parts to actually debug an application, see why payments are failing, see why hackers are attacking your website, you will not know even where to start. You absolutely know nothing. And when you ask AI, AI won't be able to help, because guess who made those errors in the first place? AI, right? But a developer who understands the inner working of how things work, once a hacker will come to their website, they'll start by debugging it, start by trying to replicate the issue that occurred, try to fix the bug, intercept the request, and patch everything up. And in just a couple of hours, their applications will be back working. So experienced developers still use AI. It's not like experienced developers don't use AI. They use AI, but they understand what AI does, so that when AI goes wrong, they know exactly what to fix. Okay. So I always want people to think of this like this. If everybody here has gone to a traditional educational system, you've probably learned many subjects that you think you never needed. Like, let's say you learn calculus, you learn maths, you learn physics, you learn chemistry, all those things. And for those who went to work maybe in a mechanical engineering company, let's say you studied physics, you went to work as a mechanical engineer, you realize that most of the time you're not spending time calculating all those how they call it, the forces, the pressures. You're not spending time calculating it. You're just using machines to do certain things. You're either welding things, but the knowledge that you gain when doing all those manual calculations absolutely help you to fix problems in your job, to do your job better, to know why we are doing things inside the product that your company is building. And that's exactly what happens right now. So before, people were writing code manually every time. Like, it was very tedious, very tiring, right? But AI has made that people can be able to write code faster. But you still need to understand those fundamentals, so that when things go wrong, or when AI starts drifting and starts like giving absolutely wrong stuff, you know exactly what to do, you know exactly what to fix, you know exactly why this code is running slowly, you know exactly what to make to optimize your application, to fix your bug, to patch security issues, things like that. So that is exactly what it is, right? The question is not about whether AI will replace developers or not. The question is about whether the current developers will be able to be faster with AI, will be able to leverage these tools to work faster. It's not people who don't know anything who come and take, like, just magically know how to build the next Facebook. That's not how it works, right? That is why, if you have been skeptical about programming, if you have been skeptical about learning this because of AI, this should be absolutely your last reason. If you don't want to learn it, it should be because of something else. It shouldn't be because of AI, because AI will not, like, AI doesn't change much. Okay. Facebook is not going to hire somebody who has never learned anything in their lives, who has just built a basic calculator with AI. You never get into any company that way. I think everybody can agree with me with that. Okay. So AI amplifies capability for those who already have the skills. It doesn't replace the need to understand architecture, debugging, and problem solving. Okay. So think of AI as a powerful tool that makes skilled developers more productive, like power tools in construction. Okay. We just talked about this. Like, once you get into something like construction, you still have tools that will help you go through the buildings, go through the boulders easily, but you still have to understand how certain things work. You still have to learn the fundamentals. That is exactly how AI is. So if you're using power tools in construction, you still need to know how to build a house yourself. The fundamentals you learn now will make you better at using AI tools, and it will not make you obsolete. Okay. So for those who don't have mathematics background, can you be a full stack developer? Absolutely. Okay. So just keep your questions for the end. I'm going to answer this very well. This is you absolutely do not need mathematics to be a full stack developer. I wasn't good in mathematics most of my life, even though I got a little bit better at it later, but it absolutely did not prevent me from building websites, building apps, learning clients, learning roles. Nobody ever asked for my mathematics skills. Trust me. Okay. So this is exactly what full stack skills unlock. Full stack development isn't just about getting a single type of job. Okay. It's a versatile skill set that opens multiple career paths depending on your goals, personality, and circumstances. So with full stack development, right, you cannot only get a job as a full stack developer. You're actually qualified for many roles. So let's say let's say you see a job listing, or you hear somewhere that they're hiring a front-end developer. You as a full stack developer can apply for this job. If they're hiring a full stack developer, you obviously can apply. If they're hiring just a backend developer, you can still apply. So a full stack developer or learning full stack development makes you versatile. You can apply for several different jobs and specialize in those jobs if you want to. So if you're not seeing roles that are specifically full stack only, you're seeing just backend or front end roles, you can apply for all of it. And then you can also build freelance projects, because as a full stack developer, you can build a whole application. So if there is like let's say a lawyer, for example, a lawyer who needs an application to better manage his clients, you as a full stack developer can build a whole application for the lawyer. You can also apply for internship or junior roles. Once you get more experience, you can head over to the senior roles. And the best part is remote opportunities. So no matter where you live, you can apply for companies, or you can work for companies internationally, living anywhere, accessing higher pay in the market you live in, regardless of your location. So you can be in Nigeria, you start earning in dollars. You can be in Ghana, you start earning in dollars. So all of that is absolutely possible once you learn these full stack skills. Okay. So with full stack, you're not only somebody who can like get into employment, you can also build your own products, deploy your products, like build applications, work remotely. So many opportunities. Now let's take a look at the reality of the job market. I'm seeing a lot of hands up, guys. Don't worry. We are going to get to the end in a couple of minutes, and then you're going to be able to ask your questions. So just write down your questions or your concerns, and we're going to get to it. Okay. So let's be honest about what actually gets you hired as a full stack developer. Today's market is very competitive. Let's not lie ourselves, but it's not impossible. Companies don't hire on how many videos you've watched or how many tutorials you've watched. They hire based on the proof of your capabilities. So the first thing is that project Scrum certificates. So I know a lot of us here are very addicted to certificates and degrees, but this is one of the unfortunate things about full stack development. I'll say fortunate because your skills get you hired. Okay, your skills get you hired, and it's not your degrees that get you hired in this field. So you being able to build projects, you being able to show what you can do, that's what gets you hired. Here, consistency beats motivation. So you waking up every single day, building something, learning something new is what gives you an edge in the market. Knowing how to communicate extensively and also having a clear portfolio gives you an edge in the market. Just to touch with you guys, can everybody hear me? Is everybody able to hear me clearly? Okay, awesome. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. So please, if you can't hear me, a very easy way to reset this call, just try exiting it and resuming the call. It solves a lot of problems. Okay, so this is what being job ready means. Okay, this is what being job ready actually means as a full stack developer. So firstly, having 3 to 5 strong projects. So you've built and deployed complete projects. from scratch. Okay, so building the front end, the back end, the database, that is what being job ready means. And that is exactly how it is in the Programmers University. After every single lesson you do, you build an exercise. After every module, you build a project, and every project must be deployed and shared with our community. And then you must have clean code. So knowing how to structure and organize your code, and knowing also how to explain your decisions. So if you decided to use this data structure over this other one, you should be able to explain how, okay? And then we also have reliability. So evidence of regular practice and follow through. So posting all your projects on GitHub consistently. That is also how you do to be job ready. Okay, so TPU is specifically built around these hiring signals. So everybody that comes into the program, we have basically built the program around these signals. So by the end of it, you're able to have all these different properties that make you job ready. Because as I said earlier, we are not here to just teach you the skills for fun. The ultimate goal is for you to learn them and ultimately be job ready. That is, you can either get employed remotely, locally, work for clients, do your freelance, or build your own products. Okay, so that's the absolute purpose. Now let's get into TPU, or the Programmers University. I'm just using it short form as TPU just because it's easier to pronounce. So TPU isn't just another course platform with video lectures, because we don't only have video lectures, as that is not the best way to, or the best thing to focus strictly on. TPU is a complete learning system designed to solve 3 problems, and these problems cause most people to quit. The first one is lack of a clear roadmap, lack of consistency, and stuck without help. So here's what you actually get when you get in. So firstly, you have your full curriculum. So everything you need, all the resources from front end to back end. Next, you have exercises that force thinking, and I'm going to show you guys in a couple of minutes. So after every single lesson, there is a couple of exercises that you need to do in order to assimilate the concepts, okay? Then portfolio projects. After every module, so once you're done with HTML and CSS, there is a project for you to complete. And when you're done with this project, you have to deploy the project so you can share with people, share with a potential employer, and potentially get hired. And then we have a community and weekly support calls. We have classes every single Saturday, and our classes are basically focused on how to navigate the job market. So the way it works is that during the week, you learn the concept, because you have to be able to dedicate 1 to 2 hours a day on the platform learning. And every Saturday, we have weekly live classes, which are focused on navigating the job market, being employable in the market. So that is what we focus on during the classes. And throughout the week, once you get stuck, you can post in our community, because all our students are very active. Post in the community once you have an issue. If I am not there to reply, other students reply to each other, help each other fix problems. And that is very cool, because it also motivates you to keep working, because when you see your peers working, it absolutely motivates you to keep working, okay? So when you're subscribing to TPU, you're not just here to buy video courses. That is absolutely not what it is. You're building a system that turns beginners into builders through structured practice and accountability, okay? So this is how we work, or this is how TPU works. So most people fail to become developers, not because they lack intelligence or resources, but because they face 3 specific problems that free resources can't solve. TPU exists specifically to eliminate these obstacles, okay? So firstly is roadmap confusion. So as we said when we started this lesson, or when we started this class, once you go on YouTube, one of the most fundamental problems is that there are so many resources on YouTube or on Google. If you tap learn programming right now, you see over 20,000 results. Where do you start? Where do you go to next after learning the first thing? What exercise do you solve? What project do you build? All those confusing things are what make most people quit. And I myself, when I was starting out, I quit several times just because of this. And then you have inconsistency. So motivation fades without accountability. So when you don't have people with whom you're studying with, when you don't have people you can reference to regularly, you basically lose motivation and ultimately stop. So TPU creates commitment through not only the payment you commit, because you commit through paying, because let's be honest, anybody who learns for free doesn't have any commitment. That's why you ultimately stop. And another thing is also the community that we have. So community expectations. When you head over to the platform and you see people shipping product, you see somebody who posted yesterday that they built their first product, this is going to give you motivation and accountability to build your own, so you can ultimately share with us. And once we check in with you, because we do regular check-ins, once we check in with you, you know that you have something to submit and you have something to build. So confusion and inconsistency is something that we solve fundamentally. And finally, getting stuck alone. So when errors paralyze you, so when you face an error and you don't have any help, that is where projects get abandoned. Okay, so TPU provides support so problems don't become permanent obstacles. Okay, so now this is exactly how learning happens. So firstly, you learn throughout the week. So we have weekly learning, like from Monday to Friday. What you're doing is learning through our interactive video lessons, our coding challenges, our projects. And then once you're done with lessons, once you're done with modules, you head over to the practice. You head over to the practice, and these exercises immediately reinforces the concept you learned. So after every lesson, practicing using coding challenges and using basically the coding exercise that we have, this enforces the concepts that you've learned throughout the week. And finally, we have review and feedback. So projects are being reviewed, because once you complete the project, you have to share it with the community. You have to post it onto the platform so we can review it and give you feedback. And this is the cycle that we basically use in our platform and in our program for us to guarantee that you're able to learn consistently and get to a point where you can actually publish and be a job-ready developer. Okay, so this loop is the secret that we have. Okay, so every lesson in TPU follows this pattern. So brief concept introduction, immediate practice, integration into projects, and support when you're stuck. Okay, so we compress this loop as tight as possible so you can iterate faster and learn way faster. Okay, so now I'm going to show you our practice system in a bit. I'm going to show you the projects that you're going to have to build and some projects that our students have built. Okay, so now we are going to head over to the platform so you can see exactly what you get once you complete your enrollment and you get in. So let me know if everybody is seeing my screen right now. Does everybody see my screen? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Screen is not visible. Okay, so I'm going to reshare my screen right now. If you can't see my screen, also try exiting the call and re-entering. I'm going to really investigate this problem because this has never happened where some people are not seeing my screen. I'll investigate this issue so that it should not happen again in the future. But let me share my screen one more time. Okay, guys, so I'm sharing my screen right now. So try and see if you see my screen. Okay, so this is exactly what you get once you land in the platform. Hello? Can you guys see my screen and can you guys hear me? Because I'm seeing a message that says they can't hear me. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Can hear and see. Okay, awesome, guys. So once you land on the platform, this is exactly what you get. You're presented with our community, and in the community, you can see students' problems, students' projects, the problems they are going through, errors they are facing, everything. And this is basically the project of the guy I told you guys earlier during the class. So this guy who spends, like, what he said on the call was that he spent 5 years trying to figure out how to learn HTML and CSS, and he wasn't able to build anything for like over 5 years. And this was obviously because he was getting stuck, quitting, coming back, getting stuck, quitting, coming back, and was never having like a clear structured path for him to build. And within 2 weeks of him being in the platform, this is the project he built. Let me show you guys real quick. This is the app he built, like the website he built just within 2 weeks of being in the platform. And just to proudly say, without absolutely using AI. He didn't use AI. He coded every single thing here from scratch, and everything here is fully responsive. So this is the website he built. Obviously, there are some things he can still fix, but this is something that he built just within 2 weeks of being in the program. And thanks to our feedback, he'll be able to refine this project and really fix it. Okay, so these are the kind of experience you got. As you can see in our community too, you can see this other guy who posted an issue he had. We still have to attend to it about how to store pictures in Firebase. So he is a little bit more advanced, where he's already storing pictures to the database, retrieving it, creating profiles, and things like that. Okay, so really awesome things. So another thing, once you get into the platform, you come over to the learn section. You can see some people learning right now. As you can see, there are 4 people right now learning. This is a Sunday, and they are learning on a Sunday. Really amazing. And you can see basically your courses. So once you get into the front end course, this is what you get. You get access to all the lessons. And also, once you get into the lesson, I really want to show you guys how we basically structure our lessons. So throughout the week, you'll be required to take our video lessons. Okay, so for example, you come here and start with the first lesson, that is Introduction to HTML, and then you head over to the lesson that tells you how to actually build an HTML document. And one of the best parts is that after you're done with this, you are not only required to take video lessons. You click on our start challenge button, or let's go to our challenge that hasn't been solved. For example, this is our hyperlink challenge. I hope everybody can see my screen. So we have a coding editor or a code editor directly built onto the platform, where you can come and directly practice here using the exercises that were built. And all these exercises here are meant to help you assimilate. Okay, so for example, after you learn hyperlinks in HTML, you need to be able to practice it so that it actually sticks in your mind, because without the practice, you don't actually understand anything. You're actually watching videos as if it was a movie, which we don't want. So after every lesson, you have some practice that you need to come and practice with. And as you can see on the left side here are the instructions of what you have to do. So for example, this is a practice that I haven't yet done for obvious reasons. So if you come here, you want to practice hyperlinks, it tells you exactly what to do. You come here, you create a new hyperlink. You can add your ref, you can add your email. This is my email for everybody wondering. And then you can save it, okay? And then one very cool thing about the platform and the exercise is that once you're done practicing, you can test your solution. And it's going to tell you exactly what you failed and what to fix, okay? So for example, we have failed these exercises. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. And during these exercises, passing all these test cases, submitting everything here, this is actually what gets you to retain all these concepts, okay? And this is what has really changed. This is what has really been like a game changer for all our students, because this is something that we added recently, like 2 months ago. Students weren't able to learn JavaScript, weren't understanding JavaScript. After, let me say, like 10 practice projects, things became way clearer, okay? Things became way clearer. And after you're done with the practice project, because as you can see, after every lesson or after every couple of lessons, there is a quiz and a practice project for you to assimilate everything. Then after the projects, we can now head over to projects, okay? After the practice challenges, we can head over to projects. This is an example of a project you have to build. And during the project, we give you the design for you to build, give you the instructions, but we don't give you the actual code. So you have to figure it out by yourself. You have to crack your head. You have to actually think, okay? And this is what most tutorials don't require you to do, because they just show you everything. We give you projects, give you instructions, and give you also guidance, because when you get stuck, you can ask questions. We are always there to respond. All the mentors on the platform are there to respond when you get stuck. So this is actually how we do to guarantee you being able to learn in a couple of months of being in the program, okay? So on average, first 2 weeks, you'll be able to build your first landing page or first website. First 2 months, you'll be able to build your first fully functional web application with JavaScript interactivity. And within 6 months, you'll be able to build a full stack app with what we call Firebase. It's basically a different type of database or a different type of backend, okay? So this is just to give you guys like a sneak peek of what you get in the program. And obviously here we have our calendar. We have classes every Saturday. The classes are being shown inside our calendar, okay? So when you come to the class or to the calendar, you can come and join the class. And just a quick disclaimer, guys, this platform was built entirely by myself and my team, okay? So this is not a platform you can find anywhere. If anybody is wondering what's the name of the platform, this is our own platform in the Programmers University that we built ourselves using all the technologies we basically teach. So this platform was built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node.js, MongoDB, everything entirely by myself. Okay, 80% by myself, 20% by my other developers. Okay, so we basically practice what we teach. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Everything you see here, even the payments, uh, online courses, video streaming, everything was built custom. Okay, we didn't pay any external developers. I am a developer myself with a lot of years of experience, so I built everything or most of it alone. Okay, so now next we are going to go to the fee. I see a lot of people have been asking about the fee. As I said in the beginning, this is absolutely not free. If you want free lessons or free resources, YouTube is your best friend. But as we've already presented the problems when it comes to learning with free resources, everybody already knows that that is the way tougher choice. Okay, so now I'm going to present you guys the fee and the payment plans if you're ready to join. Okay, so TPU offers two enrollment options designed for different commitment levels. Most serious learners choose the annual plan because it's significantly better in terms of value, and it includes bonuses that accelerate your progress. But if you want to test the system first and just commit just for a month, you can start with the monthly, but that is absolutely not recommended because of the reasons we are going to see. So getting into it, so the annual plan, I'm going to talk in terms of Nairas and in terms of cities because I know we are from different countries here. So in terms of cities, the annual plan is 2090 for the year, and then Naira is 223,500 for the year. Okay, and this is the plan that we recommend because if you're a serious developer, you cannot just learn the skills in 1 month. You need to commit for at least 6 months. Okay, and the annual plan gives you a huge discount compared to if you were paying for the monthly plan every month. Okay, so the annual plan gives you everything we offer. That is our front-end learning path, our back-end learning path, and it also gives you access to our new learning paths that are going to be released. For example, we have our mobile application learning path that is coming in by March, either March or April. It's currently in the works. So with the annual plan, you'll be able to access all of that without any price increase, because when those programs are going to be available, there's going to be a slight price increase for obvious reasons. So once you secure the annual plan right now, once those programs are going to be available, you're going to have access to everything. Okay, so with the annual plan, you're basically saving either 1,200 cities for the year or 136,000 compared to if you're paying the monthly every month. Okay, with the annual plan, you have access to everything, the complete access to front-end program, the back-end curriculum with the portfolio project, and then you have access to our community plus our weekly classes. Okay, and for the bonus that are included, once you get access to the annual plan, because the annual plan guarantees that you stay in the program for a minimum of 12 months, so it's going to be for sure that you get to a point where you can already build your full stack apps. And once you're ready to start applying for jobs, you also get resume review, portfolio feedback, and interview prep. So the interview prep is going to be done in terms of in the form of video, like video preparation, for you to know how to interview, for you to know how to like structure your resume and build a job ready portfolio. Okay, so annual membership basically signals commitment. So not only commitment to us, but commitment to yourself and the process. Okay, so once you commit annually, it's for sure that you're going to be able to commit every single week towards learning. It's not something that you come for a month and you quit, because nobody can learn this in a month. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not quick money. This is a program that takes time. It takes commitment and dedication. Okay, now this is just a summary of the annual membership bonuses. So you have early access to every new program, every new course, personal CV plus portfolio review, interview guidelines plus templates, and job ready roadmap pack. Okay, so these are the bonuses that are included in the annual. And for the monthly now is 279 cities a month, or 29,000 Naira a month. Okay, so if you add up the monthly, it ultimately becomes more expensive than the annual, but the monthly is just meant for people who don't really want to commit, who just want to like check things out and just, you know, just come in just for fun, which I don't really recommend to access. So this is the price of the monthly plan, and it's absolutely accessible once you complete the payment. So once you complete the payment, you can join immediately with the monthly plan. Okay, so just a summary of the annual plan. It saves it saves a lot compared to the monthly plan, to be honest. And the next steps for you right now, if you want to join, is you need to complete the payment if you're planning on joining by Friday, because we have our first onboarding class. Because once you join, we need to onboard you, show you everything about the platform, how the learning is done, the first deliverables you need to do in order to start your first week. And this orientation class is going to happen this coming Friday. Okay, so if you're planning to join, this first cohort, that is the first cohort of 2026, make sure to complete the payment, either annual or the monthly, by Friday. Okay, so the first orientation class is next week. Enroll by Friday and you can get started. So if you're wondering where you should enroll, you can scan this QR code right now. I'm going to copy this link right now and paste inside the comment section. So you can check inside the messages. This is basically the link for you to enroll. So once you select your plan, you complete the payment, the next steps are going to be sent to you via your email. So your login details, your email password is going to be sent to you via your email. Okay, so this is absolutely what you need to do next in order to join. Okay, so next we have a Q&A session. So any questions you have, any concerns you have, anything you have, feel free to bring it up. I'm here for this. I have enough time, no matter how long your question is. We have enough time right now. I'll be able to answer everything. Okay, so the way we're going to do is that if you have a question, just raise your hand. There is an icon right here to raise your hand. You raise your hand, I'll ask you to unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Okay, so I'm seeing, let's start with the first person. Miracle, Mr. Miracle, please unmute yourself. Kindly click on the unmute button to unmute yourself. Okay, if Mr. Miracle is unavailable, Mr. John, please unmute yourself. Okay, let's do this. Anybody who is available to ask a question right now, just unmute yourself. Instead of me calling your name, the first person who speaks, the rest to mute themselves, please.
Good evening. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear
Hello,
you.
Mr. Tony.
Hey,
Okay, who is speaking? Who is speaking, please?
my name is Joseph. Thank
Okay.
you very much for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I have some sort of a lot of questions, but the primary question I'd like to ask, which you skipped while you were explaining the plans that you have, right, is
Okay.
benefits that are attached to the monthly plan. You really emphasized on the benefits that are attached to the annual plan.
Yeah.
I'd also like you to break down the benefits that are attached to the monthly plan.
Okay, so with the monthly plan, you get access to the courses. You still get access to the challenges and the projects. You also get access to our weekly live classes. So those are the main things you get access to with the monthly plan. But you don't get access to the resume review, the portfolio review, and the interview preps. Okay, but you're able to get access to all the learning materials, practice materials, projects, and our weekly Saturday live classes, and obviously support. Because when you ask questions, even if you're in the monthly plan, you still get all your answers answered, all your problems solved. Okay, so anybody asking for the price, here's the price of the annual and here's the price of the monthly. So I'm just going to put it on the chat and pin it for everybody to see. Okay, so Mr. Joseph, I hope I answered your question. So with the monthly plan, you get access to all courses, practice, projects, support, and live lessons. The only thing you don't get access to is the bonuses, like the interview prep, resume review, and portfolio review. Okay?
All right, yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Please, I wanted to ask, please, what number can we make payment to?
Okay, so for the payments, I've looked inside the chat. I've given the link to the payment. So we don't use numbers for the payments. The payment is done using the online checkout. So if you're in Nigeria, once you go on the website, I've left the link here, is the programmersuniversity.com/checkout. Let me just show you guys right now. You can check out the link. Hold on. So here it is. So it's the programmersuniversity.com/checkout. If you're in Nigeria, you can use bank transfer. Once you enter your email and you enter your number, it's going to give you the bank details directly there. And just follow the instructions. It's very easy. It's going to give you the bank details directly on the website. And if you're in Ghana, the method here is mobile money. So just follow the link I've pinned right here. That is the programmersuniversity.checkout, and you are good to go. Okay. So no number needed, because we are avoiding numbers, because from any like bad egg who wants to potentially scam people, we basically do not endorse any numbers. So anybody who sends you a number, that is not from us. Everything is done directly, securely on the website. So the Programmers University/checkout. Okay. So I've left the link here. Let me pin it right here in the comments for everybody to see. Yeah, so that's basically it. So super easy. As I told you guys earlier, we've built our application, we've made it secured, and we have also integrated payment methods. So the same things that you are going to learn, we use the same things inside the program itself. Okay. All right. So any other questions, guys? Any other concerns? Any other questions?
My question. Good evening.
Yeah,
Mr. Tony. Good evening.
good evening.
My question is, the current cohort now is about to commence. I was asking if one should miss this particular cohort, is there a cohort that would be arranged during the later part of the year? Or is it that if you miss this one, you miss the trend?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically weekly. So currently, because last year we're taking monthly, but right now we are ramping things up a little bit, trying to take more people. So we basically launch new onboarding cohorts every week. So this Friday is the first one of 2026. Next Friday, so is it next Friday, is going to be the next. Okay. So if you miss this one, next week is still you can still enter next week. Okay. So for anybody who wants to start right now, this Friday we have the first onboarding class. But if you miss this one next week, you can absolutely come in. Okay.
All right.
So for anybody who doesn't get the link or any information right now, we are going to send the slides. We're going to send the slides to your DMs, and also a recorded version of this class, okay, plus all the links. So anybody who misses anything right now, everything is going to be sent. And if you have any question, make sure to reach out to the support number on WhatsApp, okay, if you have any further questions that you couldn't ask today. But if you have any question right now, bring it on. I'm here for that.
Okay, please, can you send a payment link for us on WhatsApp?
Yeah, absolutely. After the class is going to be sent on WhatsApp.
Hello, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, yes, please, who's speaking?
Sir, what is the duration of the training, sir?
12 months. So it's 12 months. Front end takes 6 months. Back end takes 4 months. And building project will take you approximately 2 months. So the front end side includes building 5 projects. The back end side includes building 3 projects with 1 final project. So throughout the program, you're going to have 10 portfolio projects to showcase. Okay. So this is done in approximately 12 months, depending on how fast you are. If you're fast enough, you can complete in less. But if your average speed should take you at least 12 months. Okay.
Okay, you mean the training is a recorded version, not a live class?
No, it's recorded. Okay, it's recorded plus practice. And then during the live classes is mainly to train you on how to position yourself in today's job market. Okay. let me mute everybody. I'm not here well, because one thing about programming, when you get into a company, if there is a new technology the company is working with, you're going to have to learn it alone. Okay, because when we started the program, actually we're doing live, but one problem with live is that most of the things you learn when programming is when you practice by yourself. So live learning is not the most effective way to teach you the technical skills. So during the live classes, what we teach is the more practical things like positioning yourself in the market, knowing how to make yourself discoverable by employers, knowing how to find clients. So those are what we teach live. But
Okay,
uh-huh.
what if we have changes in the technologies you've recorded? How will you update it?
Can you come again? I didn't understand.
I mean, if there are changes in the way we write syntax, for example, in the Arc and the like, are you going to update it in the learning management system?
Yeah, so yeah, if there's any major change, we're going to update it and basically make a communication in the platform to let you know. But generally, the current things we are teaching right now are basically the fundamentals. These are things that would generally not change in most of the programming languages. Like they're not going to bring in new different HTML tags in like anytime soon, because most companies already use these technologies, so they don't change often. So what you have right now, these are things that are currently being used by the industry, and if there's any major change, we'll obviously update it. Okay. Okay, so who else is unmuted? You can go ahead and ask a question. I'm seeing Joshua.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello Joshua, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, please. I
Okay.
wanted to ask, with this training, will it be easier for us to switch into different tech career roles or something? For example, like cloud engineering or DevOps.
Cloud engineering or AWS?
Yes, or DevOps engineering.
Oh, DevOps. Okay, so if you want
Yeah.
to switch to DevOps, learning full stack development is not a requirement. So if you want to get to DevOps, you can like look for a DevOps course directly. Like if that's really what you want to do, I'll advise you to just go straight into it. Okay, you don't need to learn full stack as a prerequisite. I have friends who are DevOps engineers who were not very good at full stack, who did DevOps because to them was easier, and now they are quite okay. Okay, I have friends who are currently also DevOps who started with full stack. So it's not a requirement. If that's what you want to do, you can absolutely get into it. Okay,
Okay.
but just know that DevOps jobs are more scarce than full stack. So there are way less jobs than full stack, or way less opportunity there. But you don't need full stack to get into DevOps.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't start off the lesson from the start because of the bad network. Can you
Okay.
please tell me the fundamental rubrics of the program so that I will not be
Okay. So
left in
no,
blue?
absolutely. So what we're going to do is this lesson is currently recorded, right? Immediately
Yeah.
after it's done processing, because it takes about 2 hours to process after we end the call. So you're going to receive the link. You're going to receive the link to the recorded class and also the link to the payment page and every other information, okay, along with the slides. So after the call, just wait for 2-3 hours. You're going to receive the link to the recorded information instead of us having to like go back to the beginning and like redo the whole class, okay? So we're going to send you the link to everybody who registered via the WhatsApp DMs, and yeah, you'll basically be able to access it.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other concerns, guys? Any other questions? Any other concerns? I'm here for that. Okay, so okay, I guess.
Hello. Did you have physical location in Nigeria, or it's just a workspace where we can come and learn and rub minds together?
Can you repeat, please?
I said, did you have any physical center in Nigeria whereby you can just come to learn, to study, and the likes? That
No,
learning
no.
alone.
Currently we are fully online. No physical location at the moment. It's fully online. Fully
Okay.
online. Okay. A lot of developer jobs today are remote, so we carry out our lessons online. So yeah.
Good evening,
Miss
sir.
Madam Blessing.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please, my question is, after the annual plans, is there any reward like certificates where you can use to search for a job?
Yeah, so once you're done with the program, because once you complete the payment, you actually need to complete the program to receive a certificate. So you receive a certificate of completion once you're done with the program. Okay. So once you complete the front end section, complete the back end, and submit your final project, you're going to receive a certificate of completion that you can use to apply for jobs, apply for roles, or whatever you want to do with it. But you're going to receive a certificate of completion at the end of it.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please, I would like to ask, how is the authenticity of the certificate?
How is the
The authenticity of the certificate is that if you got the certificate,
what do you mean by
it can help you.
authenticity? What do you mean by authenticity? Like if it's
I
accredited?
I obtained the certificate, so the certificate going to be accepted in any company that I wanted to apply for any job.
Yeah, so the certificate will be accepted in companies, but the certificate is not going to be used when it comes to like applying for other universities because we don't follow curriculums of universities. The program is meant to give you the skills that companies are using currently so it can be employable. But this is not going to be applicable when it comes to like transferring to a university. But it's absolutely going to be accepted by companies. Okay.
Sir, please, for someone that studied programming and knows his skill, the practical aspects, what course can you advise the person to study in university for the person to just have a BSc certificate?
Okay, so if you're thinking of taking a program and being in a university too, then computer science is like I think is the only option. It's the only option you should be looking at.
What of software engineering?
If that is a major in the university you're going to, then yeah, that's still fine. Software engineering is still fine, yeah.
For some, sir, what is the difference between the two?
Computer engineering is broad. Like with computer engineering or computer science, you can also have things like cybersecurity, DevOps, data science, things like that. But software engineering is only software. So computer science encompasses like software, data science, cybersecurity, stuff like that. So it's general, whereas software is just specific to just software. So that's the main difference. Okay, so Niel, Mr. or Mrs. Niel, I'm sorry. Question, can I pay twice? So if you want to split your payments, because I know some people have payments with not being able to do like the bank transfer at once. So just message our support on WhatsApp. They're going to tell you how to split the payment. Okay. Please, what if we want to learn only website creation? How long? So website, so as we explained earlier in the program or earlier in the class, web development right now is not only about the static websites. Okay. So web development encompasses like the front end and the back end. So if you're talking only about the front end section, then 6 months. If you want to learn only front end, then 6 months is going to be enough. But full stack, 12 months. Okay. That's why we recommend the annual plan because the annual plan equates to like 7 months of the monthly plan. So instead of taking 7 months of the monthly plan, annual plan gives you the whole 12 months at a fraction of the cost. Okay. I was seeing a hand up. Is it
Okay.
Mrs. Blessing?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So I would like to ask for someone that have knowledge in Python programming already.
Yeah.
So would this course still be useful to them?
Of course. So how much knowledge do you have in Python?
Oh, I can write some programs and I know how to take input from users and build, because before I took the Python programming course, I've been building pages, my website pages with cat.co. So
With
I
what?
don't know if this with CAD.co. So I've built,
Okay.
yes, I've built some pages, landing pages with that before I took the Python programming course. So I don't know if this course too will be helpful.
Okay, so absolutely, it's going to be helpful because the main purpose of the course, right, is not just to teach you programming, as I said, it's to teach you how to build apps. So if you've learned Python and you've learned the basics, it's absolutely going to help you to understand JavaScript faster. But now when it comes to building complete applications, so building your APIs, building apps that you can actually like get users to log in, you're going to need more than just like the knowledge of the Python you learned. You also need to learn how to build APIs, expose APIs, and that is where you're going to get introduced to a framework. So the equivalent of what we have in Python here is Express. Python, what you use to build those kind of things is the Django framework. You've probably heard about Django if you've dealt with Python, but the skills you have in the Python section is absolutely going to be helpful in the program. But it's not like a replacement, okay? Because as I said earlier during the class, what you're trying to learn is the skill of building apps, right? And these skills require you to learn the basics of programming and how to build APIs. And all these skills are transferable throughout programming languages. So since you've learned the basics of Python already, you'll be able to get into JavaScript faster and now go even further by knowing how to build and expose APIs and build complete applications. So in the future, if you're working for a company who does Python, getting back into Python will be quite easy, okay? So your Python knowledge will absolutely be helpful in the program, but it's not like a replacement. It's not because you've learned Python that you don't need to learn JavaScript, okay?
All right, sir.
Sir, but some people say Python is more preferable than JavaScript.
As I said, at the end of the day, programming languages are just tools, okay? So with programming language, it's not about which one is better than the other. It's about which one do you use based on which use case. Like for example, when it comes to data science, machine learning, people use Python a lot because it's easily writable. Okay, so somebody without any experience can easily read Python. That is why it's used a lot in certain fields. Now, something like Node.js and JavaScript is used a lot on the server side because it's way more accessible. So different languages, different functions. And when it comes to like C, C++, they go in domains like game development, robotics. Okay, so all programming language is not about which one is better than the other. It's about which one do you use in which use case. So JavaScript may be faster in some cases than Python, but Python is more useful in some cases. So that's how I want you to think about it. So when you learn one programming language, the concepts you understand and learn from it helps you in the other one. And based on the use case, you choose which language to learn based on the use case. But fundamentally, you learn the general fundamentals of programming. So the difference in which one is better or the other, it's not an interesting debate. Like it's not pertinent in the professional world. Okay.
All right, sir. Please, I would like to ask these questions too. So let's say maybe someone is just about to transition into the tech world, maybe finding his place in the tech world. So
Yeah.
what would be the foundation knowledge he should have? Like, is he like going into the programming languages directly, or because the HTML we are talking about now, I'm not actually good in it. I've not even started using it. I don't know how the interface is. So I'm just asking. So because I started with Python, so and I'm going really fast there. So now hearing about HTML and CSS now. So
Okay, so if you're just transitioning into tech, the technologies we basically covered today is basically what you need to get started. Okay, but down the line, the more you specialize, the further you go, there'll be other technologies to learn. But the basics, as you're transitioning, as you're getting into it, these are the fundamental things you should learn. And as I said, your Python knowledge is still going to also absolutely be helpful when it comes to building backend, because when you're going to get in and you're going to get into Node.js, one thing you realize, and you can even get back to me and let me know, one thing you realize is that it's very, very similar to Python. Just the syntax that changes, but the concepts are the same. So if you're transitioning, HTML, CSS to get started is the way to go. And then you move on to the other technologies as we saw during the class. Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay, let me look at the comments. Good evening, sir. Please, I want to learn software engineering or software development. What should I focus on? Okay, so we've basically covered this whole thing during the class. So I highly recommend, if you came late, we are going to send the recorded lesson or the recorded version of this class over to your WhatsApp. Okay, so all the technologies you need to learn, we cover them during the class. If you want to be a software engineer, build like robust, scalable softwares, we've covered everything. Okay, so this is going to be sent to you after the class, like either this night, later this night, or tomorrow morning. Okay. Okay, so for anyone who is asking for the part payment stuff, that is, if you're not able to like do the whole transfer at once, you message us on WhatsApp. Okay, we'll show you how to do it, or we'll show you the options. So if you're not able to do it, message us on WhatsApp and we'll show you the options. But if you want to complete the payment, here is a link. The link is currently pinned. So just go to theprogramersuniversity.com/checkout. Okay. So any other question, guys? I'm here till the questions are exhausted. Feel free.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mr. Tony, please, how do we like you ask us to
Okay.
reach you on WhatsApp? I mean, reach can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
How do you connect on WhatsApp?
So the same number that sent you the link to the class, that's basically our support number. So you can message the support number, or if you want my email directly, I can leave my email here. Let me leave my email here if you want my email directly. But you can message support number, then it's going to be transferred to me. Support is going to transfer your message to me. Or if you want to email me directly, here's my email. Is there a physical class? Okay. No, it's online only. Monthly payment accessible? Yes. So just access the link. The link that has been pinned, the programmersuniversity.com/checkout. You see the monthly and the annual option there. Okay, I'm new to the tech world, more like a novice. I want to know how to go about cybersecurity. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about cybersecurity. That is not my field. That is not what we teach. So unfortunately, I cannot provide any information about that field here. So here is full stack development, web development, and mobile application development eventually. We don't offer cybersecurity right now. So unfortunately, I cannot give any serious guidance on that. Okay, much appreciation. Yeah, I appreciate you too for joining. Okay, please, who is speaking?
Hi. Did you offer
Mr.
job support after the training? Did you offer job support after the training?
Yes, as I said, the job support comes in the form of our portfolio review, because searching for jobs is a process. Okay, so we do not place people, like we will not directly place you into a company. We do not do that, but we give you the necessary guidance to increase your chances of landing jobs. For example, portfolio review, resume review, interview preparations, and things like that, where to look for jobs, how to position yourself in the market. And our weekly Saturday classes are focused on that, are focused on job search, focused on how to position yourself, how to understand things better to make yourself more attractive to an employer. So those are the forms of support we offer when it comes to job searching. And most of those bonuses are available with the annual plan. But the Saturday classes that covers all those job search stuff, everybody can access that. But the bonuses like CV review, portfolio review, interview prep is only for the annual plan. Okay. Is there a difference between full stack development, web development, and DevOps? Full stack development and web development are basically the same thing. DevOps deals mostly with like controlling your pipeline, so how to deploy applications, rollback changes, yeah, basically CI/CD pipelines. So DevOps is quite different, but it integrates into the web development stack, but it's a little bit on the different side than full stack. Okay, but as a full stack developer, you do a little bit of DevOps, because once you upload your project to GitHub, you do different versioning of your project. That's basically DevOps. But DevOps people go more in depth. Okay, but as a full stack developer, you still do DevOps, but at the basic level. DevOps guys now specialize just fully on those things: cloud computing, AWS, Azure. Yeah, but full stack, you can still get into that, but it will not be as much in as much depth as DevOps. But the global thing that like encompasses all those things is web development. So web development basically has full stack and DevOps integrated into it. So it's like a superset. Okay, guys, really great questions. If there are no more questions, as I said, if there's anything that comes up later on and you want to ask us, reach out to our support number on my email. And in order to complete the checkout, the link is going to be sent to you via your WhatsApp. The recorded class is going to be sent to you too, along with the slides. So if you face any issues, you can message us, okay? Let me take the few last questions before we call it a day. Please, will you please teach us how to become a full stack engineer? That's absolutely what we teach here. And we have already covered the class on how to do that and the link to complete your enrollment in order to join. Okay, so the link is going to be sent to you via your WhatsApp if you want to enroll before next orientation date, that is Friday. Is your program recorded sessions or live? Both. So we have live classes every Saturday, and throughout the week you are supposed to take the recorded lessons and complete the coding challenges. You want to learn cybersecurity, so we don't offer cybersecurity at the moment, only full stack. Is there any platform for those that can't practice alone? Yeah, during our platform, inside our platform, you can interact with other students, and during our weekly Saturday classes, you can interact with me personally, ask questions. So yeah, straight directly on our platform, you can interact with people every day. Do we have weekly challenges every day? So the challenges are not daily, it's according to your progress. So after you're done with a couple of exercises, you have the challenges, okay? So you can even complete 3 challenges in a day, okay? We haven't put daily or weekly challenges, but that's something that we can put later on. But right now, the challenges is based on your project, okay? Okay, I see Mr. Lawal just joined because he's asking questions we've already answered. Is it free or should we pay? Obviously, it's not free. We answered this ever since. Any difference between graphic design, web designer, and web developer? So graphic design deals with like creating flyers, creating graphics, manipulating images, things like that. So just things that have to do with images. Web designer has to deal with like people who do UI, UX, the people who design the layout, but they don't code. Now, web developer is the person who actually codes, who actually builds everything that is done in the design, okay? So can I create my own app after this platform? Absolutely. So as I said, our platform, the platform that I showed you guys, this was built by us and was built by us using the technologies we teach. So after the program, you can absolutely build your own platform because all the technologies we teach are technologies that companies actually use, okay? So for example, companies like Chowdeck use React. They use React Native for their mobile app. Flutterwave, the same thing. So basically everything that we teach are used by companies and you can also build your apps with it, okay? Is it possible for someone who has basic knowledge of HTML? Is it possible for someone who has basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript alone to build with AI? So AI, as I said, oh, I'm hearing my voice. So AI, as I said earlier, is just there to assist you once you already know the basics, okay? So once you learn your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you need to be able to build things by yourself. And then once you know how to do those things, it now gets easier for you to build faster with AI without AI producing a lot of like errors you do not understand. So AI is not something you need to learn or you need to learn how to build with. You learn the fundamentals by yourself. Now knowing how to prompt AI will come as a result of you understanding the things or how things work, okay? So learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then moving over to the backend section will supercharge you when it comes to prompting AI, okay? So that's how you should think about it. Okay, guys, I think we can call it a day. So this lesson is going to be recorded, the slides will be uploaded, and all the links sent. I really appreciate everybody for joining and everybody who is ready to take their journey seriously. I'm looking forward to see you guys on Friday during the onboarding class. And yeah, see you then. Okay? Have a happy Sunday and see you next time.